Do you want to learn how to make a gorgeous wedding card box just like this one? Well, in this video, I share my simple 3-step process to make a gorgeous card box just like this. Coming up. Hi, I'm Natalie with TotallyDazzled.com, where we help you celebrate with sparkle by providing all the rhinestone wedding supplies you need. And in this channel, we share all our best DIY wedding tips, tricks, and tutorials. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. So let's get started on today's project. For today's project, you are going to need some stacking nesting boxes. These are from my local craft store. You will need some paint in the color of your choice and a little paint brush and plate to put it on. You'll need some scissors, X-Acto knife, a ruler, and then some embellishments. Today I'm using this gorgeous rose gold bling wrap from TotallyDazzled.com. I will link that in the iCard above in the corner as well as in the description box below. Some beautiful ribbon and some embellishments, again from Totally Dazzled. I'll link everything up in the iCards and description. All right, so step 1 is going to be cutting holes in all of the various layers of the box so that when the card is placed inside, it can float all the way down to the bottom of the box. So this set, I think, has 5 boxes. We're only going to use 3 today. So I'm just gonna take out the boxes that we do need. So I want the largest box, the largest 3 boxes is what I'm gonna be using today. And when you're cutting the layers of your box, you want to start with the smallest box or the top box first. So it's going to be like this, but we need to start by cutting a hole in this box. So what you want to do is start on the bottom of the very first layer. We are going to draw a circle on here. You can either freehand it, leaving about a 1-inch rim around the edge, or you can just trace around a smaller box or some kind of circular object you have around your home. So now I'm just going to trace around this box, just like this. And then we are going to use our X-Acto knife to cut along this line. So again, this is the bottom of the top layer. So again, and this does not have to be perfect at all. It will not show. You know, try not to be too sloppy, but you don't have to worry about it being really perfect. So I'm just cutting all the way around. All right, there we go. So that's the hole. So now we need a matching size hole in the lid of our second layer so that it can fall through the lid. So what you want to do is line up the top layer on the lid of the second layer, and so that again there's about a 1-inch rim going all the way around. And then what you want to do is just trace inside. So you want to just trace around. Now that I've got it traced, I'm going to do the exact same thing with my X-Acto knife and cut that out. And again, it does not have to be perfect because the rim from the top layer is going to hide what's happening here. So don't worry, just do the best you can, but don't worry about having it super perfect. There we go. Okay, so now we can see that this is all flowing through, just like this. You can see how the card will just fall right through to the box. All right, and now what we need to do is cut a hole on the bottom of our second layer so that it can fall through to the final layer. You just want basically a 1-inch border around at all times. So I'm just going to trace around this. So the middle layer has a hole on the lid and the base, whereas the top layer has only a hole on the base and the bottom layer has only a hole on the lid. Okay, same thing, let's start cutting. So now our middle layer is done. It's got a hole in the lid and in the base. And now the final hole to cut is on the lid of our base. So we're going to do the exact same process. All right, so now we have all of the holes cut out. And you can see here, when we have it fully assembled, this is how you know you've done it correctly. If you can look inside here, you can see all the way through to the bottom. That's how we know we've cut everything correctly. So again, top layer is just a hole in the bottom, middle layer is lid and bottom, and the final layer is just the lid, okay? So that's all there is to it. Now we are going to cut out the slit where the cards are going to slide into in the lid. So for that, you'll need a ruler and your pen. And I'm gonna make a fairly long slit because sometimes cards can be quite long and oversized, so we wanna make sure they can all fit. So I'm gonna make about an 8-inch long slit here. And fairly narrow, about 1/2 inch. And then we will use our X-Acto knife and cut that out again. All right, so now the slit that our card is gonna slide into is complete. And now when we put a card in, it'll fall all the way through. So that's the end of step 1. On to step 2. All right, step 2 of the process is to glue all of these pieces together and then paint them. So let's get started on that. I like to start with the top box. And then we're going to apply some hot glue just all over this edge that we left. So we'll apply a generous amount. We want a nice strong hold. And then we want to place this on our middle layer, and we want to make sure it's nicely lined up. And now our middle layer, same exact thing. A little glue right around the edge. And then again, right on the top, line it up. Looking good. Now it's all glued together. And the next step is going to be to paint our box. I've chosen just some light pink, blush pink paint. And it's just some craft store acrylic paint. And we'll be using our foam brush to paint it. Load up my paintbrush and just start applying the paint to the whole thing. If the first coat's not dark enough, then just let it dry and apply a second coat. It really depends on the color you choose to work with. So now our box is all glued together, all painted, and now we're on to step 3, which is the fun part, decorating and embellishing our box. For today's card box, I'm going to be using our rhinestone mesh ribbon in rose gold. It's our newest color. It's super stunning. And I think I'm going to definitely bling out this middle layer. So what you want to do is just measure the piece you need by wrapping the bling wrap all the way around the box. And then I'm just going to kind of mark the spot that I need to cut with my fingernail. And then grab my scissors and cut right there. And I will link in the iCard above here in the corner, that little eye to this amazing rose gold bling wrap. And it'll also be listed in the description below. Now what we want to do is apply a little glue to the back side here. This is the not shiny side of our bling wrap. And then we want to put that on our box and then wrap this all the way around. And when we get to the other side, a little bit more glue here, again on the back side, the non-shiny side. There we go. So there's our middle layer. Now I think for the top layer here, I'm gonna add some of this beautiful satin ribbon. And again, we're going to use the exact same process of just wrapping it around to measure with a slight, we probably want a slight overlap here. So again, I'll just mark it with my finger and do a cut right here. And then the exact same thing, a little hot glue. And I do recommend keeping all of your seams kind of in line. Wrap it around, a little glue on this side. I'm gonna fold this side over just to make a slightly more clean edge. Although we're going to hide it with a little bit of a ribbon bow, I think I'm gonna make with our embellishment as well on top. So it doesn't have to be super perfect. It will be hidden. Okay. So now here, I wanna make a little ribbon flower. So I'm gonna do that by making some little petals. So I think I want them, yeah, about this size. So I will cut there. And I want our little flower here to have 4 petals. So I'm gonna make 4 exactly the same size. And then to make our little petals, we're just gonna glue the inside edges together. Okay, now we can assemble our little flower here. So what I wanna do is glue these petal pieces on like this, and then we're gonna just fluff up all of the petals after we're done. So what we need is just a little glue on the back side of our little flower petal here. Okay, and now to hide these rough edges, we're going to use this gorgeous rose gold brooch, again from totallydazzled.com, and I'll be linking that in the iCard above in the upper left corner here and down in the description box below. Now what we want to do is add some glue to the back of our brooch and then glue it right down in the center here. And you can see that hides all of those rough edges from our little flower here. And then we can puff out our little flower here if we want it to be a little bit more three-dimensional. Now for the bottom layer, I think I will add a little bit more bling wrap. So again, I'm just going to measure the amount we need by wrapping it around. And now because this isn't going all the way up our box, I want to cut another piece. It's going to be the same length because it's the same width around. So I'm going to use this first piece as our guide, measure out the exact same length. Okay, so I'll just cut this piece out now. So let's glue on the first piece of our bling wrap here. I'm going to start at the bottom of the box. Just push that glue in, make sure it's nice and straight, and then wrap all the way around. Okay, and then a little bit more glue on this edge, or you could even put some on here if you want, either way. So now we just need to figure out how many rows we need to cover up this last little bit right here. 6 rows looks like. So we'll just cut at the 6 stone mark. And we know this is the right length already because we used our first piece as a guide. So we'll just cut all the way down. Okay, so now that I've got our narrow piece here that we need to cover up the rest of the height of this box, we are gonna do the exact same thing and just glue it on, wrap it around, and we are gonna try to line up our seams. So my original seam on the first piece was right here. So I'm going to just line it up with that. And we're gonna do the exact same process of just wrapping it all the way around. And when we get to the other side, again, just apply some glue. I think I'm going to add another piece of ribbon, maybe there on the middle layer. And again, we're just wrapping to measure, and we're going to glue it on just like we've done for all the other embellishments. And if you're looking for even more wedding inspiration, you could definitely check out the Totally Dazzled lookbook. It's full of inspirational images and wedding setups and ideas. You can click on the little iCard right here to check that out, or it's also listed in the description below. Now I'm going to make another one of these ribbon flowers to put right here on the middle layer of our cake. So here I go again. All right, and then the last little embellishment we're going to add is a little bling wrap around the slit here to our box. It just helps the edges look a little bit more clean and well finished. So we want to do the same process of just measuring the length that we need and cutting. All right, so now we have all the pieces that we need to make our little border here around our slits, so we just have to glue them on. There's the finished lid, guys. So now our slit is all polished off. All right, guys, I think we're done. This card box turned out amazing, and best of all, it was super fun and easy to make. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. We put out new videos just like this one every single week. Until next time, I'm Natalie with TotallyDazzled.com, helping you learn to plan events that shine. Totally Dazzled sells sparkling rhinestone wedding supplies. Check us out at TotallyDazzled.com. But before you do, click up here and grab our free download, 50 Ways to Bling Out Your Wedding. Or click down here and watch one of our other awesome tutorials.